This is the dominant Skylar Slice, and you're listening to the rights and wrongs of pro wrestling with Mr. Green.
You know, and we all have our 15 minutes of fame, and I'd like to take a couple of my 15 minutes to talk about the rights and the wrongs in the world of professional wrestling.
And it is for the WWE Championship.
This match is for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship.
7 for the World Heavyweight Championship.
The match and new NWA Heavyweight Champion.
We appreciate you guys coming out and taking your time to support women's wrestling in America.
This match is for the AWA World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship.
One of the joys of doing this show is being able to introduce up-and-coming names to listeners, so when they do jump off and become bigger stars, you can say that you knew them long before they were famous. And today on the podcast, we have a young lady who's been making her rounds in the Midwest area and looking to expand her range of domination. That nickname will come into play a little bit later on. She's had her way with several talents in her region, and she's even got the chance to grapple with the current WWE superstar. We will also get into that later on in the conversation as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, and listeners of the show, today, our guest, the dominant Skylar Slice.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And thank you for coming on. I want to, certainly give you praise for taking the time out of your day to pop on and have this little interview with us.
No problem. Looking forward to it.
Well, this is I try my best to get some information across to some of the fans out there that may want to know a little bit more about you as best as we can. So they will know exactly who Skylar Slice is. Maybe not too much, but you understand. Just to get the fans just a little bit of a taste of who you are, what you do, why you got involved, so on and so forth. So hopefully we could peel back the curtain just a tad.
Okay.
So let's get to it here. First off, let's go into your athletic background. From what I understand, previous to wrestling, you played both basketball and volleyball. In 2008, in fact, I think you were put as Oklahoma All-State for both those sports. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Graduated in 2008, and I played 5 sports throughout my high school career, but ended up all-stating in basketball and volleyball.
Okay, now what are the other 3?
I did tennis, and I did track, and I did soccer as well.
So why didn't you pursue any of those? I mean, now that's 5 different arenas that you could have pursued outside of wrestling. Were you not wanting to go any further with any of those?
Well, with basketball and volleyball, I actually ended up playing those in college, and played volleyball my freshman and sophomore year in college, and played basketball all 4 years, and it paid for my entire college education. Basketball did. So I guess you can say I pursued it because that was one of my goals when I was younger, was to be a college basketball player, and I was able to do it and stayed healthy the whole time and got an education out of it, so you can't really beat that.
Well, that's true. Now, you got a free ride to college based on your athleticism in basketball. Did the lure of the WNBA not tempt you at all when you were?
It didn't.
It
no.
did? No?
No, it didn't. I know the pay's not the greatest in WNBA, and I've played basketball my entire life, as far back as I can remember, and honestly, I was a little burned out on it, so I think it was good to just stop at the college level and go on with other things. Okay,
so the professional version of that just didn't do it for you.
No, I wasn't interested. No.
Okay, so nothing higher in the world of volleyball or anything like that. I mean, that there is an Olympic version of that, correct?
Right. I mean, my college, they had ties to play overseas, and some of my friends went ahead and played overseas, but I had other things I wanted to do. After my basketball eligibility, I still had half a semester or half a year of school. I had another semester I needed to finish, so I needed to get that done before anything else.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
so in between that, I'm not even sure if you had any free time between all of the stuff that you were doing, on the athletic end. But previous to wrestling, out and outside of the athleticism, what else were you doing with yourself?
Nothing. I played sports and had friends in college I like to hang out with, and I also like to hunt and fish. It's kind of something I like to do during my free time. Like if I came home during Christmas break or Thanksgiving break, I'd go hunting with my dad, and that was just something I did besides sports. But other than that, just always been involved in sports.
So I guess it's safe to say that your level of domination has always been athletically inclined. Is that a safe assessment?
I'd say so. Yeah, I'm blessed with athletic ability, and thank God for it. But yeah, it's been part of my entire life was sports, and both my parents were basketball coaches, so I don't know if I really had a choice to be anything other than an athlete.
Okay. Now we gotta back this thing up a little bit here. And I know for those that are listening that this is a wrestling podcast. Yes, I know, I get it. But she just said something very interesting that both your parents were involved in basketball. You played basketball. You were all state in basketball. You got burned out on basketball, and you never went back. So what's
No.
up with that?
What's the question?
I say, what was up with that? You got burnt out on it. You never went back to basketball. Uh, did you ever think that, hey, maybe I just need to take a year off and not get back to it?
No, I was just done playing, so
Just period.
not really much. But yeah,
You
just
just
done.
cold
I
turkey.
still play volleyball some. I actually it was the reason why we started a little late because I had a sand volleyball game, so I like to still play and stay in shape and have fun while doing it. So I still play, but just not like at a competitive level.
Oh, okay. It's fair enough. Fair enough. I can understand. You might just need it just for the unwind and have some fun and all that good stuff like that. Okay,
Right.
so now I guess we can transition over to the things that people have tuned in to hear about. They had to get a little background on you, but we can move on into the actual wrestling portion of your life. Uh, First off, how did you even get involved in wrestling? Because everything that you've laid out to me so far essentially says everything but wrestling. And in fact, if I were going to take a guess on your background, I would think that wrestling would be the furthest thing from your mind because most athletes that I see that they kind of like want to stay in what is considered a true athletic realm. So why wrestling?
Well, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, I was that fall. I didn't really quit it; it just kind of quit me. I got um, ran out of eligibility, and my sister and I know you've interviewed her before, Callista. She actually looked into pro wrestling schools, so she was the one that like really looked into it for us. And I was just like, oh yeah, that sounds fun. And of all things, I think we were watching like Total Divas. We weren't even watching Monday Night Raw or anything. We were just like, man, this looks fun. We could get in there and do it. We're athletes, and it'd be something to keep us active, and it'd be fun, and we'd get to wear the cute little outfits. And so we looked into pro wrestling schools, and we found one and started about 3 years ago.
Okay, now she never told me that she had a sister. At least I
Didn't?
don't, or at least I don't recall that in the conversation. In the conversation.
Oh yeah, she's my sister, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The secret's out.
you've been beating up on your sister?
Yeah,
That's
that's
terrible.
what sisters do, right?
That's that's awful.
Yeah, maybe we'll get along one day.
You- of all the videos I've watched, like you two are almost always on opposite sides of the ring. I don't think I've ever seen you tag once. That's
Well,
terrible.
maybe we'll get along one day and form
Okay.
a tag team.
Well, you should. You know, it's your blood. Okay. Now, I guess the now that you bring that up, is that common knowledge amongst the wrestling fans in your area?
It is.
It is?
It
Really?
used,
Okay.
yeah, it used to be just I wouldn't say a secret, but just we never mentioned it.
Okay.
Um,
So it was kind of
yeah,
like
but
Macho Man and Lanny Poffo. It's like it's not a secret, but they didn't go out their way to mention it either.
right, and
Uh,
like looking at us, maybe you would think we were sisters. Some people don't see it at all, and some people are like, "Oh my gosh, are you?" Like we've even been asked if we're twins, so you just never know what people think of us or if they're gonna catch on. But yeah, it's the secret's pretty much out, I guess, if you want to call it a secret, and everyone knows we're sisters around our area.
okay. Well, you know, it's not a bad thing, but you know, just the fact
Yeah,
that we
it's
we
not
got
at all, and
family
we're
members
we're
beating on each
actually
other.
talking about doing a tag team now, and since we've been wrestling each other for a while now, and we want to start this tag team and see what we can do with that. So it should be a lot of fun.
Well, hypothetically speaking, if Skylar Slice and Kalista start a tag team, what do we call that?
Well, we've thought of a few things, and I don't want to say the name yet because
Oh,
we're
okay.
planning debuting it, and so I don't want to tell everyone yet what we decide on our name.
Okay. Fair. All right. That's fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
I don't want to
soon
spoil anything.
yeah, soon enough, everyone will know.
Well, yeah, okay. Now, can we do this much? Which lane will this tag team? Assuming that it happens, I'm not going to say that it's actually going to go on, but assuming that it
Mhm.
takes place, what lane is this going to be in? Because you know, like I said, I try to do a little research when I interview my subjects for today, and more often than not, she she being your sister has been a heel. Whereas you, although I have seen you heel, more often not in the videos that I've watched have been the face. So which lane would this tag team go, assuming that y'all actually got together?
No, we're definitely going to be the mean girls. We're going to be heels. I mean, we're physically bigger than most of the opponents we'll probably go against, so makes a good story if we're the big bullies going against little baby faces, I think.
You would want to beat up on people like that. You seem like such a nice young lady.
I'm not. But no, I'm mostly heel. I think 90% of the time I'm asked to work heel.
Well,
So,
nah, I've seen you work heel. I think that, and it may just be the matches that I picked in particular, where it seems as if you were, you know, a face where you're tagging with Nikki Knight and things like that. So
mhm.
it may have been that. Now, of course, I did catch you as a heel when you were in your triple threat match with Knight and Mickey James. We'll get into that a little bit later on. So clearly, you have the ability to do it and the willingness to do it.
Yeah, I like working heels. I'm more comfortable with that than I am babyface.
Everybody says, yeah, Kalista said that. Everybody says that. Why? So why is it? I want to work heel. You know, I want to hear somebody come on here. It's like, oh, yeah, I love being babyface. I want to hear that one time. Why don't you like
Well,
being
I
babyface?
do love working babyface when I'm selling my T-shirts and my other merch and my pictures. I love being a babyface, but
That that
match-wise, I like working heel. It's fun,
that in and of itself sounds like a heel statement.
right?
'Cause I love being a good guy when I can sell stuff for
Yeah.
it.
I guess I'm just naturally a hill. I don't know.
Oh, okay. How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
5'10". So you are by nature, as you just said earlier, a little bit taller than most of the ladies that you work with and against.
Yeah. Usually I'm the tall one.
Is that where the promoters decided, hey, you know what, you need to be the heel here?
Usually that is how it's decided. I mean, makes a good story, kind of like a David and Goliath story. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, where did you train? I'm pretty sure. I'm relatively sure that is the answer that I already know and that's recorded. But for the sake of prosperity, talking with you specifically, where did you train?
I trained at Compound Pro Wrestling School in Tulsa, and I trained under the Canadian Red Devil.
Canadian Red Devil. All right.
Yeah.
So here's what we have to know for those that are outside of the Oklahoma area. We're going to talk about the persona of Skylar. If there are fans that are unaware of you, explain who Skylar Slice is.
Well, let's start about how I guess I got my name. Everyone used to call me Skimbo Slice in college. That was just kind of like a nickname. So I knew what I kind of wanted my name to be going into wrestling. I wanted my last name to be Slice, and then Skylar just kind of sounded cool. And then my trainer, funny story is, he just straight up told me I have a resting bitch face, and he was like, I need you to work heel and just be a mean girl, and I think you'll be good at it, and you just have that look about you, and you're big and you're strong, and it'll just make more sense if you work heel. But I also think about it, like Skylar's just more like how I was playing basketball in college. I was a dirty player. I liked the physicalness and the contact, and if I gave a girl an elbow, I would give a girl an elbow. So, and it's kind of me, but just like turned up a level. Like I like to say stuff that I would only think,
I got you.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to this nickname that you got, Skimbo Slice. Was it?
Uh-huh.
Were
Yeah,
you,
it was Skimbo Slice.
Were you knocking people out or something?
I wouldn't say that, but my last name, my real last name, it was Skimbo. So that just, it sounded like Kimbo, and all the football guys and all my friends in college started calling me Skimbo Slice. So that's how I got that name.
Okay, now because that's where I was going with that. I was like, okay, I'm hearing Skimbo Slice. I was like, which has to be a play off of Kimbo Slice, who essentially made his fame off of being a knockout artist in the backyards of Miami somewhere before he actually got into a professional league.
Right. No, it doesn't have anything to do with, even though I probably would have knocked people out, but no, I'm not compared to Kimbo. Just
okay.
the names are similar.
Are you proud of that? That hey, I probably did knock some people out. I don't know.
Kinda. It's kind of funny now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I mean it was an athletic event, so it wasn't like I was just going up to people and knocking them out. Like I just liked playing physical, and that's just how I did it.
You are quite the heel. Yes. Were you always a fan of the business, or did it just kind of grow on you once you decided, hey, you know what, let's give this thing a try?
Oh, I was a fan a long time ago. I think I started watching wrestling when I was in 7th or 8th grade, and I remember just like always like rushing home on Monday nights and getting ready to watch Monday Night Raw, and this was before like DVR or anything, so I couldn't just like record it. So I made sure like Monday nights I wasn't going anywhere. I was sitting on the couch and I was watching Trish Stratus on TV and Victoria and all those girls. So That's kind of when I started being a fan, and then watched it a couple of years after that. And then kind of stopped watching it while I was in college, just because I was always studying or playing sports or something, and then kind of got back to watching it after college. So I've always been a fan, just not die hard and like have to watch it every single day of my life, but I've always really enjoyed watching it.
Okay. In retrospect, now you named off a couple of ladies there, Trish Stratus in particular. In retrospect, how important was that? That you got to see them, because it's one thing to come home and then say, hey, it's The Rock and Steve Austin and whoever else happens to be on the show, but there's a small niche that was carved into the Attitude Era that you was watching at the time. Trish was pretty big in that, and Lita and Molly Holly and Jazz and so on and so forth. So how important was it for you, I mean, in retrospect, to have seen them in the ring when you were tuning in?
Oh, it's probably one of the biggest reasons I'm even doing it right now. I remember wanting to be Trish Stratus. I thought she was so cool, and her feud with Lita was always so fun to watch. Like I liked watching them more than I liked watching The Rock or anybody else. I tuned in to watch their storylines and their matches, and it was a little bit after all of, like, the bra and panties matches and all that stuff where they were actually like having legit good wrestling matches, and I think that they've really carved the way for all of us female wrestlers.
Okay. Well, yes, the WWE had its down period when they just, hey, let's stick them out there in some Jello or
Right.
whatever the case may be. They don't necessarily have to deal with that anymore. They seem to have kind of grown out of it. Fortunately for the ladies that are out there now, both on the independent circuit and those that have been signed, so bravo for them. With the sheer amount of ladies that are on the wrestling circuit, how difficult would you say it is to really carve a name out for yourself? Because there are so many talented individuals out there. Do you find like it's hard to say, okay, I gotta build the name of Skylar Slice amongst all of these women that are on the indies right now?
Yeah, it is hard, especially with, I guess, Glow coming out is probably going to make women's wrestling even more popular. But whenever I first started doing matches in Oklahoma, I think there were only 4 girls that were actually wrestling, and so all the feds in Oklahoma were like, oh my gosh, we have to have these girls on our show, we have to have them. So I was like kind of feeling like a big shot, like, oh my gosh, I'm in such high demand. But got a big taste of reality. I think it was back in November of last year. I went to a Shimmer seminar. It was Rise 1 with Saraya Knight and Colt Cabana. And there were so many girls there, like from California, Florida. And I was like, man, I'm not the only one. I'm not just one of a handful in Oklahoma. There are a lot of girls, and they're good. So it was intimidating and like this little shot of reality. But it is hard to make a name for yourself whenever it's up and coming, all women. There's so many of them now, and they're good too. So hope I can find a way to stand out.
I think you'll manage to find your way. I mean, you've already taken the steps. You went to Rise, which for those that are not aware, and I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong, it's basically there to kind of help elevate those who are looking to find a way to, how can I put it? I don't want to say train, but add on to their game. Is that a fair assessment for the Rise?
Yeah, that's more than fair. Kevin Harvey's really doing a good thing for women's wrestling by getting all these seminars put together and just bringing girls that might not meet other than if they all go to the same seminar, and then they make a show out of it, and it's a really good thing. It's awesome.
Do you intend on attending another one, or are we now taking the long way around, so to speak, in that, okay, now we can just build the name of Skylar Slice, and we can work around and region by region, and we can and stack onto your reputation until Shine or Shimmer or WSU or whoever comes to you and say, hey, we'd like to have you on the show.
No, I'll definitely try to go to the next Rise seminar or any other seminar I can go to. There's always room for improvement, always room to get better. I just don't ever want to have that attitude as, okay, I already know how to wrestle. I'm just going to try to get my name out there now. Like, I always want to work and get better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great way to go. Did you happen to take your sister with you, or any of the other Oklahoma girls that you worked? Did y'all go up there in the pack?
The first one I went to, Phoebe went with me.
Okay.
And she was really green at the time because she hasn't been in it, I think, she might be around a year now, but back in November, I think she was only like maybe 10 or 12 matches in or so. So she was pretty green, but it was good for her, and she did good, and I did good, and it was a good experience going up there.
When did you break it?
3 years ago, I started training. I think I started training in July of 2014.
Okay, so you have time underneath you at this point.
I guess 3 years.
That doesn't sound too confident.
I don't know. 3 years, it's flown by. I feel like I haven't been in it very long.
You didn't say that with any kind of confidence. It's like, I guess, I don't know.
No, I mean, I don't want to have like a vet attitude. I don't like that. But yeah, 3 years. Cause I'm around people that have been in the business for way longer than that. So I'm still learning. I still consider myself training and green. Like, I can always find something to learn or get better.
Well, yeah, you can always grow. I mean, I think that's part of the course. You're always learning something new. Here's the question I ask everybody, and this is going to be a little out the blue. Why haven't you made your way to Atlanta, Georgia yet?
Well, I guess I haven't been asked to come to Atlanta, Georgia yet.
You gotta hit some of these promotions up. I always give the ladies a hard time. I was like, y'all haven't come out here.
Well, if anyone wants to get a hold of me and book me in Atlanta, I will find a way to Atlanta.
Okay, well, I'm gonna pass that on now. Don't be
All
surprised.
Right, do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But actually, at the seminar, I met some girls from Georgia, so I'd love to come down there and work them.
I'm going to assume within that seminar, who do I know that went up there? Az Ali, I think she went.
Yes, she was one of the main ones. I feel like we really connected, and she has a really good attitude and a lot of potential, and I hope she's doing well down in Georgia.
She is. I believe she's been working Kayla Lynn a couple of times, and I'm going to give a quick plug for me. If you haven't seen Kayla Lynn work, you can go onto the Women's Pro Wrestling Network on YouTube. You can watch a match or two of hers and see her in action there before she went out and won the Reality of Wrestling Women's Championship, the Diamonds Division Championship. So we were able to catch her before her star started to shine a little bit, so to speak. You also met Kiera Hogan while she was.
Yeah.
I think she was up there. Also, another Atlanta girl who went on to win the WSU. Which championship did she? I can't remember. I want to say television, but it's not television championship, but it's the secondary title. It's Spirit. There we go. It's the Spirit championship that she won while she was up there. So there you have it. So a quick plug for us. You can see both of those young ladies before they became bigger stars and on the indies, and just scroll through the archives of the Women's Pro Wrestling Network, all one word, on YouTube, and you can see them in action. And hopefully we'll be able to grab Skylar Slice and her sister Kalista in action in the future. But we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. somewhere down the line, you participated in a triple threat match. Now, of course, I have to bring that up because I talked about it in the intro. This was with yourself, Nikki Knight, and a surefire Hall of Famer in the future, Mickie James. How was
Yes.
that experience?
It was an awesome experience. Mickie James, she could have came in there and had an ego and an attitude, but she was really sweet and really nice and was nothing but very helpful. And I learned just by like walking up with her. That was how we started the match, was walking up with her. And yeah, it was just great, like to learn from her, and being in a match with her was just such a great experience.
Okay, so here's my question, which, I sat and I watched the match. It was a good match. Why was it booked as a triple threat opposed to a singles match? Now, I'm not, questioning the booker. I don't want anybody to think, oh, I'm saying I could have booked it better. No, I want to know personally, because I would believe that a Mickie James versus Skylar Slice one-on-one match for the title would have elevated you and the championship at the same time, in much the way that big stars would come into territories back in the day. That was kind of the purpose of them doing it. They would always come in, they would challenge the person that was local, and more or less help make them bigger by the match that they're in. So, is there any reason that they chose to go triple threat opposed to singles that you're aware of?
I'm not sure the reasoning behind it, but I guess just to give Nikki a chance to work with her as well as I have a chance to. And it was a title match, so I think that might have been one of the reasons they went ahead and made it a triple threat, because I went over in that match and retained the title. So I think maybe if it was a singles match, and say I go over or something, then that might ruin her credibility. But if she goes over, then she'll have to come back and defend it. So I think maybe just a championship match might have been a reason. Like, let's go ahead and just do a triple threat.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess that's fair enough logic. We can go with that.
Yeah, but regardless, it was a fun match and got to be in the same ring as someone who's currently on WWE. So I was really thankful for getting that match.
Yeah, how long ago was that? That was in late 2016 or?
Yeah, it was last year. I
Well,
can't remember the month, but it was last year
okay.
around this time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know it had to been relatively close to just before she returned.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was years and years back. So I mean, so you called that a good time. That was great that you guys were
Yeah.
able to get that match out. So bravo
Mhm.
to Mid South Wrestling Alliance for pulling it together.
Definitely.
I'm going to assume that Oklahoma is your primary location for wrestling promotions. Yes.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But you've also recently posted that your circle of touring has extended a tad.
It has. Yes.
You should be very proud of yourself for this, because it appears that you will be making appearances in Florida, Colorado, and Texas upcoming. Of course, you will also be in Oklahoma. I guess in other promotions that I assumably would be new for you, and even spreading your wings to the United Kingdom in November.
I am. I'm really excited for that.
How on earth did you pull that off?
Oh, they had a sponsor contact me about coming over, and it just happened so quickly. And I didn't reach out to them. I didn't send them a resume of all things. They just watched some of my matches on YouTube and wanted to bring me in. And I wasn't going to tell them no. Of course, I'll go to the United Kingdom and wrestle. It's like a dream to be able to go to Europe and do something I really love doing.
Okay, so now that goes back to what I said earlier. Opposed to seminar after seminar, it's like you could be doing something like this where you are going to wrestle as many different names as you can, and not saying be arrogant or like, hey, I don't need to go or anything of that nature. But sometimes people do build up a name and promotions just contact them, and apparently that seems to be the case here. That British Empire Wrestling decided, hey, we need to have her come into our locker room and work some of our girls.
Yeah, it's definitely good to do both. Like, do a bunch of traveling, get your name out there, work as many people as you can. But I enjoy going to seminars, and I just like to do both. So,
Okay, fair
yeah.
enough. Do you have how can I put it, a personal checklist of talents that are on the Indies? Because it sounds like once you left Oklahoma and you kind of ran up against some other girls, particularly at the seminar, you were introduced to some people like, this person's really cool, or she's really good, or just whatever reason. You've come across some people that you may enjoy working with down the road. Do you have a checklist of people that you would like to work with?
Yeah, I do have a few girls I would love to have a match with, and one of them is Shotzi Blackheart. I think her and I could have a pretty good match, and whenever I met her, she just seemed like a cool, down-to-earth person. So if I could have a match with her, that's one of the people I'd like to have a match with. I've been in the same match as Delilah June, but I've never had a singles match with her, and I would really like to have a singles match with her. So there's two that I think I would really like to work, and then since I mentioned earlier with Calista and I doing a tag team, I think we'd have a really good match against the Twisted Sisters. So Thunder Rosa and Holly Dead, I'd love to have a match with them. So there's big list, and really I'd have a match with anybody. Just, you never know who you're going to click with, or what kind of match you're going to have. We're going to have a comedy match, or we're just going to have a brawl. So I just like doing it all, and I'll work anybody.
Okay, you like doing it all, but not. But we're gonna put a gun to your head and say, okay, now which one do you personally prefer? I know you would do it all, but which is do you consider in your wheelhouse? If you have to pick one.
I think Skylar Slice's wheelhouse is definitely just a brawler, fighter, like just intense match. I think that's definitely more Skylar.
Okay.
So I'll have to go with that, yeah.
So Slice's wheelhouse is less comedy, more brawl. That's the primary way that she would go.
Right.
Okay, I got you. Fair enough. When I had Calista on and I asked her, I think I brought up something to the effect of uh, gimmick matches. I guess that'd probably be the best way to put it. As I do believe at the time I seen her do something with that which I considered crazy, that she leaping off the top of a ladder, going off to the floor, and which prompted the question, well, what match wouldn't you do, or which match would you like to do? So I'm going to turn and I'm going to ask you that same question, because wrestling is full of gimmick matches and they're full of unique stipulations and things like that. So the first half of that is, what match would you like to do somewhere in the course of your wrestling career, and what match would you absolutely not want to do at all? If you have your choice, if you have your ability to say no, I'm not doing that.
That's an interesting question. Let's see. Match that I do want to do. I'd like to be in a cage match. I think that'd be fun. And I've been in a few gimmick matches, just different ones, like False Count Anywhere matches, Last Man Standing matches. I've been in a dog collar match, and I'd really like to check a cage match off my list. And then a match that I wouldn't do.
Gotta think about that
I
one
don't
for a
know.
while.
Yeah,
Oh, you don't know?
I'm not sure. I feel like I'm pretty open to any kind of match, and I'm willing to try as long as my opponent's comfortable and I'm comfortable, and it's not something that's going to degrade women. It's going to show that women can be strong. Then I'm probably pretty comfortable with whatever a promoter might throw at me.
Oh, okay. You know, I think I had to do the same thing with Calista at the time because it sounded like, yeah, well, I don't know, but okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go down a list of matches, gimmicks, and stipulations, and I want you to just tell me yay or nay.
Okay.
All right. So
All right.
So we're gonna scratch Steel Cage off of that because you basically said yay for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last woman standing.
Yay, I've been in one.
Dog collar.
I've been in one of those as well, so yay.
Really? Okay. Do we have existing footage of this out somewhere?
Yeah, there's 2 matches, and both of them were with Mickey Knight.
Okay, so you worked
It's
Knight
on YouTube.
a couple of times here.
I sure have.
Okay, all right. Barbed wire.
I'm gonna say nay to that one. I don't know if I would really want to bleed all over the place.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll say nay. Yeah.
Any version of street fight. I guess that would include Extreme Rules, weapons, anything goes. There's a couple of different ways to define it, but they usually all come down to Extreme Rules type of match. So Extreme Rules.
Yay. I've been in a few like no DQ matches, and I was in a street fight match too, so definitely yay on that one.
I'm not sure if they do scaffold matches anymore, but I'm just gonna toss that in there.
I'm not even sure what that is, to tell you the truth. What was it?
A scaffold match.
Scaffold match? No,
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, you're going to have to look up the Midnight Express versus the Rock and Roll Express scaffold match. Robert Gibson's pretty proud of that one. And free plug for him, he has a school here in Atlanta or at Douglasville, Georgia, so, he shows that tape all the time. So, anyway, we'll skip that, but needless to say, the loser is the one that gets tossed off about 15 feet from the air, from the scaffold onto the ring. So that pretty high drop, pretty hard hit. You may not want to do that one.
I'll do my research on it and get back to you on that because I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, do your research on that one. But we'll go with the next best thing, a ladder match or TLC.
Yay.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah, we can do a ladder match.
Man, I don't know how y'all deal with that climbing up and falling off and all that stuff. That's too much stuff for me. I guess I can't really say a Hell in a Cell because that's kind of essentially the same thing. Battle Royals, which isn't really a one-on-one thing, but it can be dangerous all the same. So Battle Royals, over the top ropes specifically. We don't want to minimize it by saying go through the ropes. Over the top ropes.
No, yay.
Yay. Okay. Have you done this already?
Yeah, I've been in a few Battle Royals, and actually, like the last one I was in was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was the only girl in the Battle Royal, along with like 35 other guys. It was Royal Rumble type style, so got in there and got to have some fun, and got eliminated. Unfortunately, I didn't win, but I went over the top rope and everything. So.
Okay, so you willing to take that big bump over the top?
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I'm okay with that.
Oops. Okay, so I think we've gone down the list of most of the big gimmick matches, and it's with exception of barbed wire, it seems that you're pretty well okay with all of them. I guess I forgot to ask the tables match.
Yeah, I would actually really like to be in a tables match. Something I haven't None yet. So
Why
I don't
would
know
you
what
really?
it is about that barbed wire. Maybe it's because I grew up in the country and I know what that stuff can do to you.
So,
But
so
it sounded like everything else I was kind of okay with.
it sounds that way. Now, so why tables match? I mean, you sound like that just came off like a thrill. Why on earth would that sound fun?
I guess because I haven't been in one yet, and I don't know, just something I want to check off my list. So,
Okay, so promoters out there, she has a checklist of matches that she's willing to do. I've just gone through them for you, so you can book her in any of the previously mentioned matches as long as they do not include barbed wire.
yes, keep me away from that.
That's right. We don't want you getting shredded up and bleeding all over the place. That's not good.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say Nikki Knight is going to be your biggest rival in wrestling so far?
Yeah, Nikki and I have had some good feuds. She's fun to work with. I think if you've ever watched any of my IDW footage, and if you're familiar with Erica, she's the rightful Queen Erica. We've had some really good feuds and some really good matches, and she's so talented and she's so good that she makes it easy to go in there and just pull off a great match. So I'd say Erica, and then of course Callista and I have had our feuds that people really got behind, and they really wanted to see like who was going to win this one and who was going to win that one. So definitely those three have been my biggest feud.
Okay. I understand that you also recently worked main event at one of the promotions that you frequent. Is that accurate?
Are you talking about WFC?
I believe I want to say that was you and Knight working main event. Was it a charity show?
Yeah, WFC, they run around the Tulsa area, and every show, all the proceeds go to a child who has cancer, and it goes to them and their families. But this was actually the first time that I was asked to work for them, and Nikki as well. So that was our first match at that company.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the two of you were main event, yes?
Yes, we were. And the show was for little girls, and she looked like she had a blast and liked to watch the girls wrestle. So it was a really good show, really good event.
Was that pressure for you, or is it business as usual?
Honestly, I had a lot of fun that show. I wasn't stressed or anything. I just went out there and had fun, and I think Nikki and I had a really good match. And the show was for Shelby, was the girl's name. So as long as she had fun, then I was happy with the match.
Okay. Well, I didn't know what to expect off of that. I mean, because like, man, you got main event. That I thought there was a certain amount of pressure that came with that.
I mean, it depends how you look at it. I mean, like I said, I was having a blast at that show. I think I would have had fun. I would have been first on the card or mid card or main event. But it really wasn't like about us and about us being main event. It was for the girl and her family. So that's maybe why I didn't feel a whole lot of pressure. And she was having fun, and it was a packed house. So I know we made her and her family some money, and I was happy with it.
That's very good. And you're also evil in that match. Shame on you.
Definitely. I'm always evil.
No, you're not always
pretty
evil.
much.
I told you earlier. I was like, I've seen some matches, and you were actually pretty nice to some people out there. Came out there and shook hands and hugged some fans and all that stuff like that. So we can't say that you're evil all the time.
Okay, I take a break from being evil once in a while.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. I take a break from being evil. That might be a T-shirt for you. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Take a break from being evil. Well, all right. So we have that. Let's get your. I don't know if this is a finish for you or just one of your big moves, but I did want to define it while I was thinking about it. there's a point in the match where you do like a what do you call it, a double choke into a sit out power bomb.
Yeah, I think most people call it a choke bomb.
Okay, the choke bomb. Now I know from several years ago there was a guy called the Damager who used to call it brain damage. Now, what is Skylar Slice's version of that, or have you really anointed it a name yet?
I haven't came up with a specific name for it that kind of makes it my own move. So I can't really tell you. My old finisher, which I stopped doing because it was kind of hurting my body, I called it the back slice, and it was kind of like a European backbreaker where I picked the girl up and her back was over one of my shoulders and I dropped to my knees. So that was like one of my signature moves, I guess. Well, pretty much my only signature move. But I haven't came up with a name for this newest finisher I've been using.
You gotta come up with a finisher name. You have to have that. I thought that was part of the course. You have to have a cool name to go at the finish.
Well, when I think of one, I'll let you know.
So I can't put you on the spot now and say, all right, give me a finish.
No, don't.
Okay. Well, when you do, make sure that you post it somewhere, and so people can know about it.
Okay, I will.
Me in particular.
All right. I'll let you. You'll be the first to know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
For those who haven't seen your matches, and if you were trying to introduce yourself to them, what match would you go on YouTube and say, okay, look, you want to know who Skylar Slice is and what I'm about? Watch this match. Which one do you pick out?
I'd probably pick out the triple threat ladder match that Calista and Phoebe and I had.
When you get to beat up on your friend and your sister.
Yeah, and man, Phoebe took a big beating that match, and she really was the reason that I would probably show people that, because she made me look strong and good, and Calista was awesome that match, and they made my job easy. All I had to do was pick them up and slam them down. They were the ones really taking all the crazy bumps, and I just thought it was a really good match, and I think everyone got themselves over and their characters over, and that show ran really long for whatever reason. And that main event, it was a main event match, and it didn't even start till 11 o'clock when usually the shows are over at 10. But it was a packed house, about 400 people, and everyone stayed for the rest of it and really enjoyed it and had chants going, and it was loud, and it was just a great match. And it won Match of the Year in Oklahoma for 2016. So it's something we can be really proud of.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, I understand that match was basically cold too. Like there was no build up to like, okay, we got to settle this. It's ladder match time. It was just okay. Y'all are doing a ladder match.
It was more like the plan didn't quite go accordingly on what we were supposed to do, because it was to crown the first ever compound women's champion.
Okay.
And just lots of things fell through, and then they just asked us if we would be comfortable with a ladder match, and we told them yeah we would, and it turned out to be one of the greatest matches that I've been a part of. So that's kind of how that happened. But yeah, there wasn't build up, there wasn't storylines. Just we needed to crown a champion, and it was our anniversary show, our biggest show of the year, and might as well make it a big gimmick match.
Okay, that's fair enough. Now, at any point during that match, because you walk into the building, the promoter says, "Hey, look, we need something big, or whatever the case would be. Hey, let's put y'all in a ladder match. Y'all agree? Y'all say yes." Is there any point in the night when you're doing this match, it's like, what the hell was I thinking?
I can't say that I had that thought in my head. Because, like I said, like Phoebe was the one who really took a beating and made me look strong, and Calista had a crazy bump that she took, and I think I had like one big thing that I did, and so no, I can't really complain and say, oh my gosh, why would I do that? Because they made my job easy, so I really enjoyed being in that match.
Okay, so you basically got off pretty light. So I guess the person I should ask in the future is Phoebe. Is like, okay, what the hell were you thinking for this beating that you took to be in a ladder match?
Yeah, I still ask her that sometimes. Like, what were you thinking?
Okay, so now let's say that you get booked in a ladder match again. Are you going to feel the obligate? Let's just say it's the same three of y'all, and you get booked into a ladder match. Would you feel obligated? Like, hey, look, last time you took just a pounding in here, so I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to take the crazy, insane bumps this go round.
Yeah, I guess I owe them a few bumps, but if we ever get booked in a triple threat ladder match again, I'll give them a few bumps.
Are you just saying that? Are you sincere?
No, but who knows when we'll be in a triple threat ladder match? Those don't usually happen too often around Oklahoma, so.
Okay, well, maybe one of the promoters might be listening to this. And like, aha! She said she'll do it, so we'll just stick her in a ladder match now. So you never know. You've just put it out into the universe now.
Right.
So I don't know. We might have just booked you into something that you won't be able to talk your way out of.
Oh man, maybe.
Well, okay. So I'm gonna apologize to you in advance because if
it's
this.
Okay.
I just want to say that because if this weekend comes up and you go to a show like, hey, you know what, ladder match, that might be a little hard to swallow right there.
I'm sure I'll do it.
Well, you got guts. That's all I can
Thanks.
say for you. You certainly believe in what you're doing. I find, and I'm gonna just take a step away from not wrestling in total, but just a little bit off wrestling just for a second here. Because I find that the ladies that I have had the opportunity to interview, such as yourself and Kalisto, Kiera Hogan, just on down the line, unfortunately, I'm going to try to say this nicely so not to insult any of the people that actually do this. They all seem to have some variation or version of a unique fan. Is that, can I put it that way? Does that make sense to you?
If this is who I think you're talking about, then unique is a really nice way to put it, I guess.
Okay. well, let me finish. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to say this nicely. Okay, so
Yeah, go ahead.
I find that all of you ladies have some variation and some unique fans from varying backgrounds. Some of which might be more persistent than others. Some may present interesting scenarios to you in online formats and things of that sort. One, I will say I have to give Kalisto a great deal of credit that she entertained the conversation for as long as she did. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, have you experienced this?
Every single day, twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening, and then sometimes on my Facebook wall. But he's definitely persistent. I think you can name drop because he might be listening.
No, I'm not gonna name drop.
I'll name drop. I hope Jesse Lambert's listening. I like him. Hi, Jesse, if you're listening.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, I like him. He's awesome. He's fun. He's fun to talk to. Like, people are like, "Are you ever gonna message him back?" And I'm like, "I do. I talk to him like almost every day. But if I don't reply within 1 to 2 minutes, he's writing on my wall or asking me to message him back." And I'm like, well, I was driving, Jesse, so give me a second. But I talked to him, and he just likes wrestling, and he's harmless, and I think he's harmless, and
Okay.
I like him, so I like talking to him.
Okay, all right. That's fine. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's relatively the same comment on a lot of different walls for a lot of different people. Now, I wasn't going to name any names. Let me just say, let me just put that out there right now, because I wasn't specifically talking about him, but you did bring his name out.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know how to address that right now. It's like that doesn't come off as a little. And let's take Jesse out of the equation. Okay, let's take him out of the equation since his name has been put in there. Let's just pull him off to the side.
Okay.
The behavior, if that were to come from another person, just somebody out the clear blue, would that not come off as a little unsettling at times, perhaps?
I mean, honestly, I've heard a lot worse and a lot more inappropriate. So if someone else says, "Hey, do you want to have a match with this person?" That's not really out of the ordinary. I mean, I know Jesse, he's all about it every single day, but if these fans, if they're having fun and they're being entertained, then we're doing our job. And I'm never going to say someone is weird and acting out unless they're just being inappropriate. So,
okay.
Like I said, no, I don't think that would just be so bizarre and weird. Like, they're fans and they're getting into it and they like it. And like I said, if they're having fun, then we're doing our job.
Well, you are a good person. See, look,
from evil to good.
Yeah, look at you. You thought you were just totally evil. Some people wouldn't even deal with it. A lot of times I see it and they don't answer at all. So you're being nice to do that. What has been the most physically grueling match you've been involved in to date?
Let's see. I think the match that probably made me like the most sore I've been after a match was the first dog collar match I had with Nikki Knight. And it wasn't like we did all this crazy stuff, but I think just that collar being around your neck and jerking you around, like, it's not normal taking a bump with something around it's not normal taking a bump at all, let alone with a dog collar and a chain wrapped around your neck. So that's probably the most like physically sore I've been after a match, and it was a good match, but man, it hurt afterwards.
Why on earth did y'all do a dog collar match? I guess that would be the next question I'd have.
Well, the booker asked us to do it, and Nikki was comfortable with it, and I was comfortable with it, and the first, it was our first time doing it, so I didn't know it was going to hurt so bad. So our second one wasn't as physically demanding as our first one, because we kind of like learned what was going to hurt and what was going to be safe for the both of us. So definitely the first match, man, that took a lot out of me. I was sore for a while after that match.
I bet. I've only seen one live between two ladies, and that was, gosh, 4 years ago. So it can't be all something that happens on a regular basis. Clearly.
Yeah.
What is on your check mark or your list of goals to accomplish in the remainder of 2017? Do you have a short list of things like, okay, I need to do this, this, this?
I don't know. My list of wrestling accomplishments has changed, and like for years now, like since I started, my goals are so different. But and definitely going to Europe was a goal I accomplished because I definitely wanted to travel out of the country. But I don't know if I'll have time this year to really accomplish any more goals. But I'd like to wrestle in Japan or Mexico, along with London and the United States.
Okay.
But I don't know if I'll do it this year or I might wait. But that's definitely something on the next goal that I want to do.
Okay. That sounds good. I think just in the fact that you were contacted by a promotion out of the country that you didn't pursue solely based on videos that they saw of you is an accomplishment in and of itself.
Definitely. Like, I'm just really grateful that it happened, and I don't know if it was right place, right time kind of thing and how they found me, but I'm glad they did, and I'm really looking forward to going over there.
Well, I wish you all the best,
Thank you.
in those endeavors, going over to the UK. It sounds great. I hope that they take the time to put some of that stuff up so it can be seen, so it can share with your fans around the Oklahoma area. It sounds like your stock is beginning to rise. That is the real plus here.
Yeah, and I'm also excited for Sabotage coming up in October. So that'll be a fun show to do, and that's a really good show for women's wrestling, and excited for that show and hope I can accomplish things in that show as well.
I'm going to have to get on my promoters here in the greater Atlanta area. That we need to push on the women's matches a little bit more. I try to do my part to get it across, but it seems like I'm the only outlet.
Oh, no.
I can't. It's only so much I can do. I don't have the checkbook. If I did, it'd be different. But I don't have the booker's pen
Right.
or the checkbook to make those things happen. Otherwise, it'd be a lot of people in and out of here.
Yeah.
But perhaps one day we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm sure they appreciate you pushing their names out there.
Well, I try.
So,
I put them
yeah.
off. Now, granted, and I certainly cannot mention any names in this statement, but some of them don't share the same outlook as I do as far as women's wrestling is concerned. So I won't mention any of those, but that I think that
Okay.
they do need to kind of progress just a little bit. It's not a sideshow anymore. It's not gonna hurt your show. It's not gonna take any food off anybody else's table or money out of their checkbook. That it'll be fine. You can have a lady on your show and it'll go through. People will watch it, I promise.
It's time for random questions.
So anyway, now that I've got that out of the way, we've come to the portion of the show where it's down for random questions.
All right, let's do this.
This is where we ask for some stuff that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with professional wrestling, but might toss it in there every once in a while.
Okay.
So you are prepared. You are ready.
I hope so. Go ahead and ask.
Well, here we go. Outside of yourself, name me something else that's dominant.
Definitely a dominant volleyball player.
Okay. Now you got give me some other entity outside of you.
Ooh, man.
That you perceive as dominant.
What do you mean that I perceive as dominant? Like something else?
Yeah. Dominant basketball franchise, dominant baseball, dominant boxer, dominant, whatever.
Let's see. Dominant. I'm a big Oklahoma City Thunder fan, so I'll go with them as being dominant. Even though they didn't have the greatest year, they'll get back on their feet.
Okay, so that's just fan support now. You're not going with the actual stats. You believe in Oklahoma Thunder, so they're dominant. You're gonna give it. You're gonna give them the check.
I do believe in them.
Okay. Now, all right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go with that because you believe in them. What is the best version of Beauty and the Beast that exists?
Definitely the cartoon Disney version that they did. That's the best version.
If you weren't wrestling, you'd be doing what?
Probably teaching, coaching basketball or volleyball.
What would you consider the suggested viewing material of the month?
Viewing material?
Yes.
Is that what you asked? Probably Game of Thrones.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure you'll find a lot of people that would agree with you at that point. This line comes off of Saturday Night Live, Black Jeopardy. What can a skinny girl do for you?
Let me power bomb her.
That you power bomber.
Mm-hmm.
You'd hurt. You'd hurt somebody like that.
I probably would.
But you're a heel, so I guess you like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the name of the game.
And apparently a bully. You're bullying her.
Yeah.
You find these girls that are smaller than you and you beat up on them. It's terrible.
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
What is your favorite word?
Oh no, I don't think I have a favorite word.
Okay, we'll scratch it. Least favorite word.
Probably the F word.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I'm a Christian.
Okay. What turns you off?
Just negative people.
What's your favorite curse word?
The B word.
What sound or noise do you love?
Anything that Selena sings. I'm a big Selena fan.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Trains.
What profession would you absolutely not like to do?
I guess garbage man or something. I don't like stinky stuff.
Okay. You make it to the WWE and Vince McMahon is there to welcome you at the door. What would you like to hear him say when you arrive?
Well, I don't know. I just hope he's nice to me, not mean.
Well, I didn't say Mr. McMahon. Now, Mr. McMahon might be mean to you. I don't know. That might be a whole different thing.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough. We'll go with that. So that was pretty painless. You made it through the random questions portion. Bravo to you.
They were very random.
Well, that's what they're supposed to be. You got to be all over the page.
Fantasy booking.
The last segment here is what I like to call fantasy booking. And that we have to explain fantasy booking. It is my theory that every wrestler has a storyline or angle that they have in the back of their mind that they would like to break out at a moment's notice, or they could break out at a moment's notice. So I am going to ask you now, Skylar Slice, I want you to book me your fantasy storyline, give me your fantasy booking against and give me the story, not just say I want to wrestle against so-and-so. Give me the story, give me the start, give me the stop, the payoff, all that good stuff. Against someone, now here's the caveat. We can't dig up somebody that's dead, or, this has to be something that could legitimately happen.
Okay. Never thought of this anymore, so this might just be really random.
Okay.
But, okay, let's go with, my husband also wrestles. So I'd like to be in a storyline with him, like a love storyline. But let's say, I know. We have like a voodoo guy named Samedi in Oklahoma, and he makes people drink blood. And it'd be kind of interesting if maybe he made my husband drink blood and turned him into a voodoo zombie, and I had to find a way to rescue him back and go through all these matches and till I got him back. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Have you pitched this to your husband?
No. I told you, I just thought of this randomly. So.
No, well, that was pretty good for a random thought. I mean, he had it pretty well set out. I was like, man, that might be the best one I've heard yet.
Yeah, I think if I had like 5 minutes to think of something.
I see. So you want to fight for the love of your life to bring him back into being a normal human being opposed to a zombie.
Yeah, that sounds fun. And Samedi gets over really well around Oklahoma, so it'd be fun to do a story with him. And everyone loves when he makes people drink blood and he turns them into zombies. So if I could be in a storyline like that, that'd be pretty cool.
Well, see, now here's the downside: you can't be heel. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be face fighting for love. Everyone likes love stories.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess is that the big payoff? Is at the end of this, the final match. Now, who's going to be the last obstacle that you have to go through in order to achieve this? That's the real question.
How about my zombie husband? I have to fight him, but he's a zombie.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
And if I win, he turns back into normal, and if I lose, then I have to drink the blood and be a zombie.
Well, now look at. I'm going to assume that one of your promoter friends may be listening to your interview. Now, I think you've just booked yourself at least a good 3 month worth of storyline right there.
Well, in Oklahoma, we have an athletic commission that won't allow me to have a match with the male. So I don't know if it happened in Oklahoma.
Okay.
That's fantasy, so I went all out.
It is fantasy. Okay, now if you wanted to make it, if you really wanted to do that, then you just have to swap the ending. You put your husband in the corner, and then you have a surrogate in the ring for him.
Yeah, but I don't want to wrestle someone. I think it'd be fun to like wrestle Samedi and his zombies and do a whole story about that. So you
Well,
said
yeah,
fantasy.
you gotta have the
fantasy.
yeah, you gotta have the zombies and everything. I was like, well, if he's part of the pack, so to speak, let's say that I don't know who you have over there that he could. Put the whammy on as a female that you could legitimately get in the ring with, other than Phoebe and Nikki Knight and so on and so on. But let's assume that he puts the whammy on one of them, and they're part of his gang also. He can
just turn all the girls into zombies, and I'll just beat them up.
There you go. So
they won't know it.
So there you go. You got to get through all of them. I mean, and you could even have that in a one night thing. You just set the story up and you have a gauntlet match. So then you got Skylar Slice has got to go through 3 of them in one night. So now you're fighting desperately. You're tired and this, that, and the other. But I refuse to give up because I got to win my husband back. There you go.
Okay, let's book it.
I think you just did. I think you just booked it. You need to just go ahead and take this audio to your your promotion that you work at mostly, and tell them, hey, take a listen to this.
Okay, I will.
And normally I would go and give my fantasy my own version of the fantasy book behind that, but I don't think I can top that. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. I mean, you got zombies and voodoo and drinking blood and whatnot. I mean I added my 2 cents.
There's wrestling in there.
Yes, and wrestling. So I don't even know if I can top that at all.
Yeah, I don't think you could either. some good stuff.
It is, and I think all you may need is like, if for him to dress up like Papa Shango or something,
Yeah.
come out with the bones and everything else, and then he'd be ready to rock and roll.
You're right.
Other than to say, to come into the Georgia area and be a hit woman for somebody, to take on the local talent and drop that atomic leg on somebody, because I think I saw you drop that from the top rope. Well, I guess that would be an Oklahoma jam for you.
Yeah, that was the first time I actually did that leg drop. So.
How's that not a finish?
What?
I said, how is that not a finish?
I don't know. That's what my husband said. He was like, you should use that as a finish, but I wanted to try it first and see how it went over, and so I might end up using it as a finisher. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on, man. That's an old school move there. I think Beautiful Bobby was the one that kind of made that famous, and now
yeah.
And
I'll
now you got it.
Need to work on it and make it look good before I make it a finisher.
well, I'm going to agree with your husband there. I think that's good for at least a secondary finish. Let's say that. But, let's
okay.
Let's split the middle. You already got your choke bomb. Is that what you call it?
Mm-hmm.
That you use for a finish on one hand, and you can have the Oklahoma Jam on the other. Although you still need to give it a name. You gotta got some flash on there.
Okay, I'll let you know when I pick out a name for it.
Okay, there we have it. Give me a name at some point in time. So I think we have powered through a good chunk of your interview here.
We've been on the phone forever.
Is it forever? Well, see that I'm going to take that as a good thing because it didn't feel like a long time, but yet and still, I got a good fair amount of time out of you, and it just breezed on by.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. So what we need to do now for those that are listening, whether they be fan or whether they be promoter, or a mix of the two, for those that want to get in contact with you for any particular thing, whether that be buying you a gift or booking you on a show, how can they do that?
Definitely through Facebook Messenger, you can get a hold of me. Just add Skylar Slice. I also have a fan page that you can message on, and Skylar Slice at yahoo.com is my email address.
Okay, so there we have that. Any other social media platforms that you would like them to follow you on or support you at? Of course, you just mentioned the fan page, so I'm definitely going to put that out there, that if you have not liked her on her fan page on Facebook, you need to go ahead and do that. But anything else that we have that they can locate you on?
Yeah, definitely add the Facebook fan page, but also I have a Twitter, and the handle is just at Skylar Slice, and then Instagram is at real Skylar Slice. So you can add me on Instagram and Twitter as well.
Well, that's always good to know. So there we have it. You can just scan for Skylar Slice on both Instagram and Twitter, and I'm gonna put the Women's Pro Wrestling Network out there also as well. You can follow the WPN on both Instagram and Twitter by going to WPN Wrestling. It's both the same on both platforms. Of course, you can go to the website, WPNWrestling.com, which I do need to update. Yes, I'm sorry for those that have gone on there and haven't seen any updates. My apologies, but I am working hard. I'm a one-man band on a lot of occasions, so it gets very difficult, so cut me some slack. You can listen to this program and other interviews, much like Ms. Slice here, on iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Podbean. You want to go if you don't have the apps, download the apps, and you'll be notified for all of the upcoming shows and stuff like that. And you certainly don't want to miss interviews such as Skylar's here. You definitely want to make sure that you get the notifications for when those comes through. So click on those, subscribe on your particular and preferred platform. It is free. Free is a good thing. It's not going to cost you a dime, and you get a bunch of content for absolutely nothing. You can't beat that. And I'm not trying to even borrow Enzo's line there. So subscribe on all of those. Any final words, Miss Skylar Slice?
Just add me on all my social media accounts and stay in touch. And I love all my home slices, and I can't wait to meet more and keep wrestling and have fun. So thank you for having me.
Well, that sounds like a good way to go out, and we've loved having you on the show. And be sure to follow us both on all of our social media and all of our little platforms. We both appreciate your support, as we all do, across the wrestling platforms and many different independents out there, because it is your support that keeps all of this stuff going. So with that, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next show, everybody. So long.
Thank you for listening to the WPN's Rights and Wrongs of Pro Wrestling. If you have questions or comments, please contact us via our Facebook or our YouTube channel at the Women's Pro Wrestling Network. If you're new to the WPN, feel free to subscribe to our channel and like our page. We appreciate your support. Thank you again for listening.